Hello and welcome to the History of Aviation Podcast for episode number 84. I'm Derrick and thanks for making us a part of your day. And we've got a great one in store for you today. But first off, as always, I'm joined by Mr. Shae Jones. How's it going, Shae?
Oh, we're doing pretty decent, my friend. How are you doing?
Good.
Right on. Here we're going to be talking about some stuff and things today.
Some wildness. And as always, Mr. Will Diener. How's it going, Will?
Going fantastic. Got nothing to complain about. Never do.
Good. And we want to give a huge shout out to Julian, who couldn't be with us tonight because he is under the weather. So get better, Julian.
Get better.
Get well soon, Julian.
That's absolutely right. And, guys, I know Shae has heard me talk about my love for Ernest Hemingway books.
Oh, yeah.
Going all the way back to when I was a kid in school and read The Old Man in the Sea. That was my first Hemingway, and I've read everything since, although I just found the volumes 1, 2, and 3 of the letters that he wrote. But speaking of Ernest Hemingway, people's probably saying, well, what does that have to do with aviation? Well, Will Diener, in January 1954, Ernest Hemingway survived 2 simultaneous plane crashes in Uganda, resulting in significant injury and a harrowing experience that later he re-encountered in a letter. Now, Will, 2 plane crashes, 2 days.
Absolutely ridiculous and horrifying to think about. So, me, along with most other people on the planet, have never experienced a plane crash, never really thought about the idea of being in a plane crash. But going over, doing some research about the Hemingway crashes these last couple of days, it's really, really, really something surprising and horrifying to think about.
Yeah, with a very interesting ending. As
Very
well,
interesting, Red.
as well. So let's talk about Hemingway and his wife were on safari. We were talking about before we went on air in Uganda, and you mentioned his wife wanted to take some pictures.
Yeah, that's from the research I saw. It looks like they dropped altitude and she wanted to get some photos of either the landscape, maybe some animals. And to my understanding, the pilot went to avoid a bird strike, had to dip down, hit an old telegram wire, and ended up crashing right in the bush.
Right there. Resulting in that's here we are. We're in a survival situation. We think about our Les Strouds and our Bear Grylls and what would you do in a survival situation. But there's your first account of being in a survival situation. You're with a crash plane. You got to survive, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Go ahead, Derrick.
No, go ahead.
That's something that I wanted to talk about a little bit. Absolutely horrifying, like I mentioned. But let's take a pause on Hemingway. In the event that you were flying, and Derrick, you're a pilot, so I think this is a good question to ask you. If, say, you were on your way to Africa for a safari of your own, you know that you're going to be in a situation where it's a little bit more dangerous, less communication with the outside world, and the odds are higher. Obviously, you never want to crash your plane, but the odds are higher of you going down. What are some of the things that you would bring with you in the event that you did go down, survived, and you had to live out in the forest for God knows how long?
Yeah, and that's a great question because, Africa, you know, that's a real, East Tennessee, yeah. Africa, gosh, man, you've got what elephants?
Yeah,
Uh,
crocodiles.
yeah. I mean, what tigers,
Lions.
lions, cheetahs? Are cheetahs in?
Cheetahs are in Africa. They're in the Serengeti.
They are.
For me, I would have my normal survival stuff, but I would be scared to death of getting trampled by something or eaten by something. And it doesn't matter what you have in your bag when a herd of elephants come stomping your way, does it?
Nope, no. I think you just got to learn how to run.
Really fast.
But yeah, running and traversing through a forest and a rainforest that is a terrifying idea. Shae, last podcast we talked about your wife from Brazil, my family's from Brazil, so I think of the Amazon. Now, I don't know where.
Yeah.
You mentioned Uganda. Okay, so I don't know exactly what the landscape looks like for Hemingway going down in an airplane and being crashed in the bush, but I'm thinking Amazon rainforest and being trying to survive running away from something seems near impossible. And now we all know Hemingway. Hemingway's a pretty cool guy. There's some better words to describe him, but we'll keep it PG.
Yes.
He he's a survivalist at heart, I suppose. But I don't know what I would do in that situation. Say you went down, you're in the middle of a forest, you have absolutely no idea where you are, and you're alone. What's your first step? What are you doing first?
Assessing the situation, and you got to add to that. What if you got a broke arm? What if you got
Yeah.
a broke leg?
Well, yeah, he broke ribs.
Yeah,
He broke ribs. He punctured his liver. He dislocated his shoulder. There was some damage to be had. So it's definitely what you're saying is absolutely true.
My first instinct would be to take what was left of the plane and build a shelter and stay put.
That's fair. I mean, and the fire didn't start until the second plane crash. So
Right.
for all intents and purposes, the plane is the temporary shelter, at least for a little bit, as long as there's no fuel or fumes or fire. I would say stay put there for at least a little bit.
Finding your way out of the situation like that in your first plane crash, imagine being completely shaken up, you're disoriented, you don't know where you are. There were two planes that saw the wreckage but didn't see the survivors. They failed to find any survivors, and the news broke out. This is the 50s. Papers are being written left and right. Obituaries are being written about Ernest and his wife passing away after their safari visit in Africa. Just for him to flag down a riverboat and get in communication with some other folks and another pilot who decides to take him back out, unsuccessful on takeoff, crashes, explodes, big fireball, trapped in an airplane. How do you even think of that?
You don't. You don't. You first off, you don't think about being in one plane crash. And you also don't think about being in one plane crash, being in a survival situation, getting rescued, and being in another plane crash. So, my thoughts on it, and, reading Hemingway books and knowing Hemingway's character, I'm not surprised.
You asking for some flight miles after that. My gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting because this is where I think the story gets really interesting. So they've already got him dead in the newspaper. They've already written his obituary. Now he's in a whole new survival situation.
Yeah.
This time on fire, surviving burns, being trapped inside of the plane. So his wife and the pilot make it out through a window. He's trapped. He's got broken bones, and he's left with one tool able to
His head.
barge his way through the door, and that's his head. Imagine
it
yourself
doesn't really
pinned
talk
in a
about how
burning
long
airplane.
he had to do that for.
Yeah, there's no telling. You're lodged in, your arms are pinned, your legs are pinned, you're inhaling smoke, everything around you is on fire, everything's hot, and all you can do is bang, bang, bang to get yourself out. Talk about strength, courage, and just initiative. He wasn't going to die. He had another book to write. So
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, so I think this is where it gets really interesting, because what happens from here? Because from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he ended up on foot with eternal bleeding, with a ruptured kidney. What was
he had a ruptured kidney, a ruptured liver is what I heard as well. Some broken ribs, a torn up shoulder. dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, so and me and Will both are kind of in bushcraft. I'm more into bushcraft than I would be survival. But
I'm into Minecraft. Does that count?
I know there was a Les Stroud episode that was. I know there was a Les Stroud episode that was. I don't know if you ever seen this one, Will. If anybody knows who Les Stroud is, Les Stroud Survivor Man.
Survivor
Did
Man.
Yeah, did an actual episode simulating a plane crash.
Yeah. Oh, he did one. Yeah.
Yeah, and
100%.
with his arm in a sling. His arm wasn't obviously broken, but with his arm in a sling, simulating a plane crash. But you can't be in good spirits after two.
I would imagine not. I would imagine not.
And they've got you marked as dead, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but he's on foot at this point.
Yeah, he's definitely on foot because they actually said that there was an airplane that found the crash but couldn't find them, and so at the same time, that's when they were, at least from the stories that I've heard, that's around the same time that they were like, "Hey, there's a boat over here. Let's take you to where you need to go."
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, and I think the thing that most people find interesting about this story and somewhat amusing is that he emerges from the wilderness with bananas in a bottle of gin.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that makes everybody smile. And if you've read Hemingway, if you know of Hemingway, that is not surprising at all.
Not in the slightest bit. If it weren't for the other acts of badassery, pardon my French, I think he would have been written down in history as a drunk. But
Right.
Yeah. Liquid
you
courage.
got to
for
talk
sure.
about all the other stuff he did. Sure, he may have been a drunk, but he's a really cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
That's probably why he didn't get hurt when he's banging his head up against the wall or the door.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, and it's like and I've said before, and a lot of the aviation folks won't realize, but me and Shae talked earlier about Howard Hughes and Ernest Hemingway are very similar. One being a legendary uh, aviator, one being a legendary author. Very, very similar in personalities, very similar in adventure and actions. And you look at Hemingway as big game hunting, big game fishing. I mean, he wrote an entire book on fishing. He wrote an entire book on hunting. So there was some survival skills there mixed with a little gin for courage, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Can't forget the bananas, Derrick.
The bananas,
Yeah.
the bananas too.
They could have been plantains too.
I think
They could have been.
Yeah, I think Shae says. What did you say, Shae? It was uh, Hemingway's Guide to Not Dying, featuring booze and fruit.
That's what I named it.
Hemingway's
Video title.
Hemingway's always interesting, and I love that we found a niche where he was involved in some aviation stuff. But closing thoughts on Hemingway, Will Diener, on the whole situation.
Yeah, absolute killer of a guy. Really, really stunning story, fantastic books. His writing was incredible. He was world renowned, of course, at the time, and still now. Hemingway is still very relevant in novels and literature. But the one thing that really I keep thinking about in regards to this whole story is finally laying in your own bed and reading your own obituary, multiple obituaries from across the world. How do you think that feels?
That would be for me. That would be quite entertaining. I would have to have a laugh at it.
Yeah, I definitely would be like, what? Really? I don't well, I'm here.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm gonna hang on my wall.
Oh yeah, frame it for sure.
Yeah.
crazy to hear about the things that people think and feel about you that they'll only say after you've passed away, coming to find out that you are still alive and you get to read those things.
Right. What's that? It's too bad that you can't have the like the double jeopardy. Like with the law, you have the double jeopardy. You can have double jeopardy. It was like, oh, you already died, so now you can't die again. Now you live forever.
Right. Yeah. 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 I think it's
Who was on that track?
Right.
yeah, and you talk about badassery. I mean, come on, this is emerging out of the woods with bananas in a bottle of gin after 2 plane crashes. I mean, that's you know, that's one of the things I think that at the time made him one of the most interesting men in the world.
He's just coming out of there like the jerk. Where he's like, all I need is this bunch of bananas and this alcohol. That is all I need.
Does anybody have any vermouth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not, perhaps some Banaka.
Anybody got any ice? What's going on here?
Yeah,
2 plane
exactly.
crashes. I got a bottle of gin. Yeah, I love. What
What about glasses? Who needs glasses? Just drink from this thing.
Oh yeah. So Derrick, talk to me about this. You fly. How real is the threat, and how much are you thinking about bird strikes?
Hardly ever. Here.
Sure.
There. No idea. I think it's something. Of course, a commercial pilot's going to be in their mind a lot more.
Sure.
And I have seen videos, where in a Cessna or a Mooney or especially a Piper Cub, your biggest fear is it coming through the window. I mean, okay, it hit the engine, but now it's coming through the window.
Yeah.
There's where your real problem lies. When you hit a bird with a 172 or a 150 or something like that, which I think it's been, and listeners could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's much more of a concern in commercial aviation than it is general aviation.
Sure. And I mean, you hear about that all the time. I don't know about all the time, but you hear about some of the more catastrophic plane crashes that have happened, especially in recent times, that have been so widely covered in the media. And, of course, the first that comes to mind is Sully landing in the Hudson, right? Bird strike. Yeah. And that's one of those things where doing the research and finding out that Hemingway's first plane going down was because initially of trying to avoid birds. That's what got me thinking about it is wow. I mean, there's a lot of times where you hear about bird strikes happening, or even in engine manufacturing and developing fan blades and propellers that are more resistant to foreign objects such as birds or tarmac debris or anything like that. How it's becoming a more spoken about topic in the aviation world, at least in development.
Well, and you got to think too, Cessna versus any airliner, in a Cessna, you're going to see those birds. You're going to see those birds, and should easily be avoiding. But in a jumbo jet, man, that's just here come the birds. Here comes the birds.
Yeah, it's not like you could just go right rudder and get out of the way.
Right. Like you could do in a Cessna or anything else, and you have, you're looking out at your engine. I mean, obviously, if you have a twin engine, that's different. But a single engine, you're looking out the window at your engine. Oh, there's some birds. Let's go left. Let's go right. Whereas a commercial aircraft, yeah, you're
kind of stuck in your in your area of movement.
Yeah, you can't maneuver a 747 like you can maneuver a Cessna 150.
No.
The way of birds, there's just gonna, so yeah. So, I think bird strikes are way more in the minds of commercial pilots, and we can ask Captain Cliff this too. I think it's way more in a commercial pilot's mind than it would be a Cessna pilot or a Mooney or a Piper or whatever.
Yeah, anything general aviation, feel like you have a little bit more control,
maneuverability to get away from it.
Oh yeah. And of course, too, it's one of those things where it's unavoidable. Um, you can't do anything about birds, right? You can't do anything about birds near airports. You can't do anything about
Mm-mm.
birds, period. So it's one of those threats and one of those fears that'll live in the minds of pilots that nothing you can do about it. You just have to kind of pray and hope that it doesn't happen to you. But
Well, and it,
in Hemingway's second crash, I'm multiple sources, multiple answers on what's happening on the flight. From what I'm seeing mostly is they're having a hard time getting off the ground.
mhm.
And I saw, or one of my sources wrote that they were overweight and the engine was really, really struggling and they were overpowering the engine trying to get that bird off the ground, no pun intended, and overstressed the motor, ended up crashing on takeoff or not being able to get up off the ground, maybe hit some trees. I'm unsure on exactly what happened in that second flight. But again, Derrick, as a pilot, how do you feel about takeoff weight? What if you were overweight? How worried or concerned would you be about being overweight on and actually getting off the ground, especially on a short field or soft field or makeshift
Mhm.
runway, dirt road, sand, wherever it is they may have been taken off from?
Yeah, and in that situation, it's really hard for me to say because most of my flying is me, me and someone else, so there's not real concerns about, you know, what our weight. We're not loading down the plane with stuff and going. We're pleasure flying, whereas we have what we have on us and two guys, and that's all we have. So it. My thoughts on it would be, so this first plane crash. This is where the other plane went to get them. So that's obviously a short runway, or that's not even a runway. It's maybe a field, maybe whatever it was. That's one of the things you can't. This thing goes so far back in history, it's hard to get like a good grasp on. Well, we would never find out what kind of surface they were on at this
Right.
point. Um, I would say, and we can get the listeners' views on this. Whatever they were doing was extremely risky. It had to have been. There's no way it couldn't have been risky. Where nowadays we have rescue helicopters, which not as near as risky, where you can hover and drop baskets, but it's hard to say what that situation was because those guys out there even today they do some kahuna flying,
Yeah.
just like they do in Alaska and Canada and everywhere else. So
Sure, but in the 50s, they also didn't have airplanes that were capable of short takeoff and landing and
this is
taking off
true.
in 4 meters like some of these Savage Cubs are
Hmm.
doing. And yeah,
Yeah, so it's hard to say, man. It's kind of like you can't fathom it. What I mean, obviously, I'm sure Hemingway had some gear. Here's a avid outdoorsman. He had some gear. Uh, I don't even. What was the second plane? Does anybody know what type of plane it was?
I don't remember now. Hmm. I don't remember at all. I was trying to see if I can find it, but can't.
yeah, I'm not getting any.
Yeah, I couldn't find either what kind of aircraft it was. So that's kind
The
of one
first
that
crash was a Cessna 180.
yeah, the Cessna 180 was the first one, but we don't know what. Maybe hey guys, listen. Maybe if somebody knows what type of second aircraft this was, or the second aircraft that crashed, let us know because we could not find any um results on that.
I'm gonna see if I can find it right now. Actually, give me a second here. Let me grab
And
this.
guys, all of our listeners, please understand too, is that none of us are experts on the topic. This is something we just wanted to share
Yeah,
with you and something that we thought was cool and was fitting for the history of aviation. The fact that sure planes go down, but surviving two plane crashes consecutively, one after another, day after day, was something that really blew my mind and an unfathomable situation to be in.
Yeah, it's Yeah, if we could get some information on what that second aircraft was. So I guess the big question would be, does anybody out there in the Hemingway plane crashes know what type that second aircraft was? Because that's some really difficult information to find.
And more information about the field or runway or road that they were taking off from.
Oh yeah, in this photo that I just seen, you can see the knot on his head.
Yeah, from hitting his head all the time.
You can see the knot on his head from using his head to get out of the aircraft. That's crazy. And he was no spring chicken when this happened either. He was yeah, what a guy. That's all I can say is what a guy.
Well, according to this, the second crash, the Halividan Dragon Raptide, the aircraft is believed to be a de
The Havilon.
Haviland Dragon Raptide.
The Havilon. Can you pull that up on screen share because I have no
Yeah.
clue what the frig that is.
Yeah, let me grab this here. D
He's so fast at screen sharing when it's pointless. Now we have something.
screen and this share.
Let's see this bad boy because I could not find any. Okay,
Interesting.
Yeah.
had you ever heard, Will, of a dragon raptor? Is that correct?
It's like a
Dragon
Raptide, Rapide.
Raptide.
Rapide.
Rapide. Is that what it would be?
I'm not sure.
There you
That
go.
I feel like that's like a because he was in South America, so I feel like that's an Espanol palabra para happy
well, he would have been
for fast.
It's a cool plane.
now I
Cool
don't
looking
know
plane.
anything about the Havilland aircraft manufacturer.
Now the Beaver. So you got the de Havilland Beaver. You got the de Havilland Twin Otter.
Are they what country of origin are they from?
Gosh, I don't know. Um, but this bad boy here, I've never heard of.
Oops, there's no G in origin.
They're a British
British.
aviation manufacturer.
Cool looking plane.
Yeah.
Founded in 1920.
Yeah, I mean,
Really cool looking plane.
we've seen the Twin Otters at our airport. Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen the Twin Otters come in.
And then how weird is I say weird loosely, not in a bad way, but how strange is it to see a commercial or a passenger biplane?
Back then,
Right.
probably not so weird.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, uh, wasn't the Ford Trimotor? Wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was just a high wing, wasn't it? It was just a high wing. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, the Hemingway stuff's really, really cool. And I'd like to do a little bit more or get more engagement from you guys if you have any information regarding the Hemingway crashes. If you've heard stories, if somebody told you a story in the past, please share it with us because this is something for us that was really cool to talk about and something interesting to think that two plane crashes, hard to imagine to begin with, and then being in that survival situation, what happened in the second plane crash? Would you ever get on a plane again? I don't know that I'd ever get on a plane again if I got in a one plane crash, but I'd like
Yeah,
to say that
right.
I would as much as I love this. But in the event that I did go down in an airplane, I think it'd be a little hard to get me back in a seat. But that
Right.
hasn't stopped me in the past, Been in car accidents and I still drive. So
Exactly. So yeah, you guys watching this video, you listen to this podcast, let us know your thoughts of this whole thing. Let us know in the comment section. We'll see what everybody thinks.
For real.
Yeah, and Hemingway, yeah, that's badassery. I think Will summed it up with badassery when you survive 2 plane crashes and emerge with a bottle of gin
And
Right.
bananas.
and bananas, and that's to me that's just like I can almost picture it in my head, just nonchalantly walking up like here, you know,
All right.
here we are.
Let's finish off with this. Asking you, Shae, and Derrick, and the viewers. I want to know, everybody, if you were in a plane crash and you were to emerge to the public holding a beverage and a fruit of your choice, what would they be?
The fruit of my choice would be a tomato because tomatoes are fruit, and
Okay.
I'm Southern. What would my beverage be? Um, so this is going to be and something we didn't dive into real quickly. Obviously, Hemingway had the bottle of gin the whole time. There's
Right. He
there's
had to have.
there's no
Oh, there's
so
a store out in the jungle. We gotta go
right
get some
so
gin,
so
buddy.
not only did Hemingway and his wife survive 2 plane crashes, but a bottle of gin did as well.
Of
Right.
course. Well, you know they teach you, right, to put your head kind of between your knees and brace for impact. You know he had that bottle in his lap. He wasn't
Probably
letting go of that.
Yeah.
no, no.
No.
And so my bottle. So oh gosh, let's see. I would have to say it would probably be a lukewarm Miller Lite. Let's go.
A
There
lukewarm
you go.
Miller Lite. What an
Well,
awful answer, Derek.
it's not gonna be cold. I'm in the wilderness with it.
Right.
Sure.
But
No,
in
that's
that
fair.
in that situation, that would have been long gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, single bottle. You come
yeah,
out with a 24 pack and
yeah, in a Yeti cooler. Yeah. What
yeah.
do you got, Shae, for us?
Well, I think the fruit of choice that I would have probably would be a giant avocado, if I could find one. And
Avocados with sugar, by the way.
yeah, yeah. And then I'm gonna share my screen here a little bit here. This would be my soda right here. You ever heard of that?
Oh, Moxie.
Your favorite
Yeah.
soda is Shae Jones has screen sharing. Double click to enter full screen mode. I can't see it. What is it? I can't see it.
It's a
Old
Moxie.
Moxie.
It's a
Old
Moxie
Moxie.
soda.
What is that? Okay, I got it
Moxie.
now. I got it now.
Yeah, this is Moxie. So Moxie was a soda way back in the day in Maine. It was originally a medicine, and then it turned into a soda. And some people to this day say that they love it, and other people say that they hate it. So you either love it or you hate it. I happen to love it, and I prefer the bottles, the glass bottles, over anything else. Although
Gotcha.
they all have their own flavor to it, but that's it. That's my favorite drink right there.
So, Will Diener, what is your Hemingway? You're coming out of the woods after 2 plane crashes. What's your fruit and what's your beverage of choice?
You know, like I kind of said earlier in the podcast, I keep reverting back to thinking of crash landing in the Amazon. What do I have readily available? Of course, I've got bananas, and I'm sure I
Mm-hmm.
could find some gin. At least rum. There's plenty of rum, cachaça in the
Mm-hmm.
Amazon. But I think my beverage would be a cup of coffee. Come out of the woods
Pilau.
holding a cup of coffee, pilau coffee, and I would probably have, I don't know, like a mango or a papaya.
There you go.
That's what I'm coming out of the woods with. Cup of coffee and a mango.
I like it. What a great, interesting story that whole thing was, and it's always great to come back and like I said, Hemingway's special to me because I've read his books. I mean, there's Hemingway books that I've read. I've read The Old Man in the Sea probably in my adult life probably 6 times, and I find something new every time. So it's always great when we can add you know, Ernest Hemingway was not an aviator. He just found himself in a aviation situation, which makes it interesting.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of great stuff, Shae, going on over at the website. What we got going on over there?
Yeah. So I haven't gotten with you on all of it. So we with the website that we've had up until now, you can pretty much catch all of the new podcasts, both video and audio. I don't think I posted last week's video
Okay.
there, but I can definitely go there and do that tonight. But we've got a shop there, which I do believe we're trying to figure out a better way to do that, to get more applicable things that make sense and that matter to this type of audience. But yeah, just as always, we're always going to have ways for you to reach out. You can reach out to us there. All of our links to our socials are there. All of our links to the stores, the podcast. You can go down the whole list and listen to old ones, new ones, whatever you want, photos, videos. But yeah, it's HOApod.com.
HOApod.com.
HOAPOD.com. I love it. And
Yep.
let's see. Gosh, we're at Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Am I missing anything?
Think so. I think that's pretty much everything. And I'll just show you, just as a reminder, I'll show you all what the website looks like here. There you go. But yeah, this is a really good. Oh, we gotta add Diener's face to it.
We do. We
We gotta do like a whole thing. Oh yeah, because we got bio pages and everything. So like if you come up here, you can actually. I thought I had a yeah, photos, videos, home. There was a thing where we had like get to know the crew, so each person had their own thing. But yeah, so we'll definitely be updating that for sure to get Will's photo on there. But yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, and just want to say to Julian Martinson, get well soon, bud, and join us next week. Julian feeling under the
Right
weather
on.
today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Make sure you keep taking that vitamin A.
That's right, and that C.
Sorry. I think that one went right over Derrick.
It did. It did. You got it
What's
though.
that? What is it?
Nope. No, it's
Oh,
too late. It's still
it
looks.
is. It's too
Look.
late. This is after we shut the cameras off, kind of
Yeah.
fill you in on that,
This is the
Derrick.
bonus episode
Gotcha.
that we're
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
put.
Just
This is for the after party.
Yeah.
I'm a hyper focused. So
We're gonna let the listeners tell you where you've gone wrong, Derrick.
yeah. So Will,
Oh, good. That's so good.
you got a lot of stuff going on over in your Facebook, I know, with some fly fishing videos and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. My social media, to my knowledge, is relatively private.
Gotcha.
I don't do a whole lot on social media actively, but I do scroll, I do my scrolling. But yeah, if you find me on there, you'll see me at a couple different race events. I'm a big motorsport fan. You'll see me fly fishing. You'll see me sharing posts about airplanes, talking about cars, talking about whatever it is I want to talk about. So
Where did your love for racing come from?
that's an interesting question. So I know in the last two podcasts, there's been a lot of talk about Brazil and South America and things of that nature. But ultimately, as a kid, watching a little bit of Formula One here and there, I wasn't ever a huge motorsport fan growing up. But what I will say, Ayrton Senna is essentially a god in Brazil. He's a Brazilian Formula One driver. And I was totally inspired by him several years ago. And not inspired to be a Formula One racing driver, but just it's one of those things for me in Brazilian culture that it's something that we talk about all the time and we love dearly, and it's becoming more popular here in the United States. So I'm a little bit more open and talking about it now because I'm meeting a lot more people that are getting into the sport and getting into motorsport in general.
Hmm.
For me, it's one of those events. If you go to a race in person, whether it be NASCAR, Formula One, IMSA, any of the championships, endurance races are my cup of tea personally. You'll see I've got a Red Bull Racing shirt behind me and a whole racing sim rig behind me. I I don't know. I fell in love with it because of the tiny details. Similar to aviation,
Hmm.
seconds matter, milliseconds matter, teeny tiny little micro adjustments matter, teamwork matters, and that is where I get very interested in it. I grew up loving soccer, more traditionally football, real football in my opinion,
Hmm.
and those things are very great team effort stamina games, but you get into something like motorsport where a pit stop can make or break a driver's outcome of a race. You know, the tiniest amount of fuel being too heavy in a car will make a huge difference on lap times. You know, a driver's weight. You could have two drivers in the exact same car and a similar skill set, but one of them weighs 10 pounds more. They're going to be slower over the course of 70 laps. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that half a second doesn't seem like a long time, but half a second at 200 miles an hour is a really, really long distance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I really, really fall in love with it. I don't get into the whole politics of Formula One and IMSA and whatnot. I just really enjoy the little things that make the big picture.
Well, there you go. That is awesome. So I enjoyed it, guys. As always.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much.
100%.
And again, this is my second podcast with everyone. Please, I'd love to hear the feedback. Let me know what you think, how I
I
can
didn't hear
improve,
any feedback
and what
tonight
we
at
can
all,
do.
man. Your microphone was perfect.
There you go.
Shae is the
Yeah,
jokester. I was warned.
I am.
and for those listeners, what is your Hemingway? You've been in 2 plane crashes. You're coming out of the wilderness. What's your fruit? What's your beverage? Let us know.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Awesome. Derrick, you want to sign us off?
We're going off air. For Will Diener, Shae Jones producing, I'm Derrick Beeler. Thanks for listening to the History of Aviation Podcast.